The problem, in my opinion, is Matt Chapman is a tremendous third baseman, maybe one of the best ever to play the game. But offensively, he is a role. He's a contributor. He's a piece that says, okay. But with the Giants, he's the main piece, and he's batting fourth, and he comes up constantly with runners in scoring position, and he's got 44 RBIs on the year. You can't have that.
This is the issue. This is the issue with a lot of teams, and I'm going to take the Giants out of it for a minute, but this is the issue with a lot of teams. You get desperate to sign somebody, and you sign them, and you overpay in term typically, but sometimes in dollars. And you have to ask yourself, is during the term of this contract, what's the chances of this player playing the same that the player has played? Okay. Or is what we've seen, if what's on the baseball card is the best it's ever going to be? Is he going to get better at 34, 35, 36? Unlikely. So, it's what I don't miss about the GM seat at all, because you find yourself in these situations where you feel you need to add somebody, and they sense it and they know it, and they keep moving the price tag up, and so you end up talking yourself into it, and then you look and you say, how are we going to do this? And I don't. That goes on with pretty much every team. I mean, the Dodgers are sitting there with Conforto right now for 17 million. 1 year deal, though. 1 year.
1 year deal. That's easy to get rid of.
5, 6, 7. You can put up with almost anything for 1 year, but he hasn't hit 200.
Correct. Yeah, so, I missed out on that. I thought Conforto would have I thought he would have a big year. I predicted he'd hit 25 home runs because he hit like 20 last year with the Giants. I thought with all that protection around him, this guy's going to have a massive year, but it just hasn't happened. No. I got a question from Senior Softball Games. He says, Dan, when you get a chance, ask Ned if he's ever come across a player from the Dominican who falsified their age.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure I have. That they put a lot of safeguards in about that to kind of manage that. It's really, and it may be the same way today, but it was really a tough situation because you didn't always know. You didn't know a lot about the background, and most of the time, and this may sound startling to some people, if you're 18 years old and you're a Dominican player, you're probably not getting signed. It's already passed you by. We're not signing, we're not drafting people in our country until they're high school graduates, maybe 17, but about to be 18. If you're that age in a Dominican, you're not going to make it. You're done. That's why they allow the 16-year-olds to be signed. So yeah, there was. It wasn't players saying that they were older. Like sometimes people will falsify their ID to get into a bar or something.
Right. They're saying they're younger.
Yeah. They're saying, no, I'm not 18. I'm not 19. I'm not 20. I'm only 16 years old,
Yeah. Well, this is what's intriguing to me, because there's a lot of players. David Sampson, former executive of the Miami Marlins, he came out and pretty much said that Albert Pujols at the time was not the age he said he was. No concrete evidence, but there's been many Dominican players who have been caught that they are 4 years, 5 years older. They find out. I think Miguel Tejada was one of them. Found out he was older than he said he was, which brings us to the question. It's twofold. One, when you're younger, a guy like Juan Soto from the Dominican can make $700 million as a 26-year-old, but is anybody going to pay him that if he's really possibly 30? We don't know. it's just, and then we got Rafi Devers, who's 28. His body looks like he's in his 30s. He doesn't appear to be this young. I mean, they're just, he's got back issues. I mean, this is a problem. And you as a GM mentioned, one of our previous times you were on the show, how tough it was in the steroid era. Is this guy on steroids or not? I have no idea. And I want to sign him. And you're dealing with people from the Dominican that, are they really their age? Where's the proof? I mean, how do you uncover that? Is there a way to uncover that?
Well, for everybody listening that thinks that they could be a GM, this is the trick to the gig. It is tough because you don't know. You could be around a player for 10 years and you don't know the lifestyle, and you don't know what they're doing, what their age really is, or back before testing, if they were doing anything illegal. You don't know. You can't ask. You can't accuse. You just have to take an educated guess and figure out what you're willing to gamble on, the personality and the honor of it. But that was the toughest. And that actually made the age falsification minor. Without steroids, the age falsification is a huge deal. But with the steroid issue, age falsification became secondary to what is this player doing? Is he going to test positive? Is he going to break down? Is he going to sign and then stop, and suddenly body gets smaller and the stats get smaller? I mean, it was the toughest period of time to figure stuff out like that.
Wow. Yeah. I wouldn't envy a GM in that position, because you're talking millions and millions of dollars, and it's the owner's not happy, and if the owner's not happy, you may be out of a job. I mean,
you just bring up a good point. Let me ask you this, Dan. So you brought up Chapman and Adonis as guys that, you got to figure out if you're going to keep them or not. Right.
Right.
Those deals aren't even a year old yet.
Correct.
So how do you go and tell the owner that, we're not even 12 months in and we got to figure out how to get this guy out of here?
That's a tough one.
I think say a lot about your judgment.
I think you got to go out there and just lay it on the line and say, look, this might have been a mistake, and do we compound it and just stick with it, or do we try and find, because I think Chapman would be great on a team like the Yankees, the Phillies, the Red Sox,